there's a fallacy where people say, well, I want to learn prompt engineering. So what are the prompts that I need to memorize? There's a lot of snake oil and people actually selling this stuff online.
Of course.
Oh, here's the prompt Bible, the stuff that you need to memorize. And when people ask me like, well, how do I start learning prompt engineering? I think what you just described is precisely, it's just like, just ask the LLM, how can I prompt you? And it will literally give you the cheat codes to design that prompt. But what you're pushing for is you just have to get hands on. You literally have to put yourself. And a lot of the times, I think what you're also alluding to is sometimes it's inefficient. Sometimes it's actually easier to just write the email yourself.
Oh, yes.
Sometimes it's actually easier to go and do the research. But that becomes intuitive once you've actually had the revs and experienced the hallucinations yourself and experienced where it's actually way faster to have ChatGPT or
businesses are learning this. I think business. So, for example, I was sitting with a researcher at MIT, and one thing he said is like, look, if you're a business, you have to be careful where you apply this. Forget values and all that. Just literally for effectiveness sake. So, for example, if you're applying AI in a situation where you need 99.99% accuracy, AI is actually not the tool for you, because the exponential cost to go from 96% accuracy to 99.99 is exponential. I didn't get that until he literally showed me the cost curve. So that's I think one, and it's the same thing in life. There are some things where, to your point, actually it's just more efficient for you to do it. The other thing, and actually we're having this conversation with CJ and I, is, and now I'm speaking to parents. I'm speaking to educators, people who work with kids particularly. Make this a side-by-side adventure. In some ways, you don't want the kids walled off from it, and you also don't want them in the AI wilderness by themselves. You want them with a coach by their side, the same way if you were an athlete. Your coach wouldn't say, just go shoot jump shots and I'll come back and I'll see you in a day. That's not how it works. Be their coach through this process. And by the way, you're going to be learning too, and you're going to feel stupid every now and again, and that's okay. But part of your job is to help them make sense of what they are seeing and what they are using, and also make that journey a conversation between the two of you. One of the things that the AI cannot do yet, and I don't know if it will ever truly do, is that relationship between teacher and student. And I use teacher in the writ large sense, whether you be a parent, you be a guardian, you be anybody, is that relationship of like, please help me make sense of this and kind of keep me safe. And I use safe again in also the broad sense, is I think really, really important. And that's just a critical job that we all have. I have two kids myself. My son is about to be 8. My daughter's 3. And as I think about them in this journey, that's also part of the job.
Yeah. The interesting thing though is when you describe that side by side, I think in many cases, what transpires is the student or the kid is often showing the parent or the teacher.
Absolutely.
And I did a presentation. I went back to my alma mater, Cowboy High School, did two assemblies, one for teachers, and I had like a bunch of my former teachers from Copley High School were there. It was very, very wide. It was weird. And I did sort of a similar version of this. Is sort of like a big picture, like what is AI? What are language models? Like, why should you care about this? And the teachers were like, their eyes were like dinner plates, and there were people lining up like, oh, my daughter is majoring in accounting. Like, what advice should I give her? And the students were pretty checked out. And at first, I just sort of chalked it up to like, high school students. I never really cared about these assemblies. And then afterward, there was some kids, sort of approached me. They're like, hey, we have some feedback. We've seen all this stuff. Yeah. Like, none of this is new. We're, like, can I ask for a show of hands? Like, who's using ChatGPT to help with homework or to cheat on their homework? A third of the group raised their hand. They were like, everybody should have raised their hand. Like, we're all using it. And I think there's like, so that's to me, that's new. To me, that there is, and I think that also has created a little bit of fear among educators, because it's like they don't understand it. They feel like it's sort of something that's something they can't control.
Which you can't.
But I mean, what you're saying and what I feel like we have been pushing is there's only one solution to that, and you can't ban it. You can ban it in schools; they're going to use it out of school. You can ban it in schools; they're going to use it on their phone. And your only solution is you have to learn yourself.
And you can't. What I can't remember is how can you ban a thing that the minute they step outside of your environment, like when they step in the workforce, like I always remember there was this great story, maybe like a year after ChatGPT came out, and it was software engineer, and basically ChatGPT, and I think that was the tool he used, made him so much more productive that he was remote. He had 3 full-time jobs, and so he literally made like $350K over like a year for like a year or two, and he's like, and like he paid for his kid to go to college. I think he paid off his house, and then after a while he started to feel bad. He was like, should I tell them that I have 3 jobs? And in my head, I'm like, I don't know about that guy. But that there is a tool that can increase your productivity 2 to 3x that you don't use. That's not tenable. And so I think one, parents, guardians, that broad teacher category, you have to learn these tools. One. Secondly, your job may not be to teach them technically what to do. Your job is to help them make sense of this. Your job is to help them, what should I use this for? What should I not use this for? Should I write this myself? It produced this answer for me. Do I believe it? And if I don't, how could I cross-check this? Like that's actually the where that teacher category is so useful and so valuable.
I'm going to grasp for metaphor here. So it's like, there's this uncharted jungle that you, the teacher, have never been to before, and you have to go through this jungle with your student, with your kids, and you may not be able to guide them through. You don't know what's in store. You can make sure that they have waterproof boots. Sure. You can make sure they have all the equipment that they need. You can prepare them for what they might encounter so that they're not surprised. And you yourself should pour over all the information you can find about this new land that you're exploring. And because I think there's a big difference between someone who is just sort of showing up in flip-flops and just like winging it, and someone who's actually preparing for, there are known unknowns. And I think that's sort of like there's actually some certainty around what we don't know, and it's not completely like there is a space of like a gamut of like what might what might transpire, but it's not completely unknowable, right? It's a set of potential outcomes, and based on how fast the technology develops, based on precisely how good it ends up becoming at coding, how good it ends up becoming at writing. But these are things that we can make students aware of, and things that they can pay attention to. And if you want to be a lawyer, like keep tabs on how law firms are implementing AI. Like that should definitely be something you think about when you're about to apply to law school.